Good. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are indeed happy and pleased to welcome each one of you for the ongoing mental health webinar series 2020-2025. And this is on behalf of the Department of Psychology, the American College of Madurai, in association with the Yellow Pond India Counseling and Wellness Center, the Tamil Nadu Counselors and Psychotherapists Association. I would like to welcome our honorable resource person for the day, Dr. Shashikala Rajamanoharan, ma'am, and a very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am. And today we have reached session number 1878 one. And the topic for today's session is using the past wisely, a rare view mirror approach. And happy to introduce her to all of you. She's a counseling psychotherapist. And with that short introduction, I would like to hand over the session to you. The floor is yours, ma'am. Over to you. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizers of American College Madurai and Yellow Pond India Counseling and Wellness Center for providing this platform, particularly Dr. Suresh Kumar. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Salim and Anita for giving me this opportunity to deliver this talk. So, most psychological approaches emphasize focusing on the here and now, arguing that it's all we have and perhaps all we really need. And in this talk, I will explore the vital role our past experiences play in facilitating meaningful changes in our lives. So I'm going to use a metaphor of rearview mirror because just like we glance at it to see where we have been and get a better sense of where we are now, we need to reflect on the past to truly understand the present. So I'm using this Sigmund Freud's 3 levels of mental phenomena or topographical model of the mind to do this talk because that I feel that is very much important for us to understand the importance of past experiences. So using this iceberg analogy, we will try to understand this. So the tip of the iceberg is our consciousness. So when we say consciousness, it's very obvious for all of you. The part of the mind we are aware, which includes our current thoughts, perceptions, feelings, and more memories. Underneath that, sorry, Vendra.
I think if you could just put your mics on a mute, please mute your mics. Deependra ji, please mute your mic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank
just
you so
below this conscious. Yeah, sure. Just below this conscious level, we have our pre-conscious. So when we say a pre-consciousness, this is a mental phenomenon that are not conscious at any given moment, but can be retrieved into consciousness with effort, with considerable thought. So like learned knowledge, stored memories, ideas not currently in thought, may come under this. So, for example, if when I'm giving this talk, obviously I do use my pre-conscious level as well, because I have to think about what I learned. But the intensity can vary. Like in a week's time, if I try to do this presentation without any preparation, then I may have to make more effort to get this pre-conscious pre-conscious memory or whatever the stored information. So next, underneath that is our unconscious level. So there is no sharply defined demarcation between these two, but it's like it represents a continuum actually. But I will try to explain this in detail by giving you a story, which actually I found in a textbook. So that is Davis Mallon's textbook on individual psychotherapy and the science of psychodynamics. So here they are just, the story is about a young, 27-year-old research chemist. And he was working on a military device. He was washing out a small clear plastic ampule containing iodine. So the water was gushing from the tap. And then from the ampule, the water is cascading as well. The brown iodine solution spilled into the sink. So he suddenly realized that there was a flashback into his mind. And so basically these visual and sensory elements triggered a memory with his parents. So he was having a picnic with his parents by the waterfall at the age of 7. That's what came into his mind. So what you're seeing here is in the scene setting, whatever I have put is what was at his conscious level. And then he got this from the flashback, he actually had this memory of the waterfall. So he was really puzzled what was going on. And then he tried to remember what happened. And then he realized that the water gushing from the tap and cascading from the ampule reminded him of the waterfall he saw in his picnic. And then the iodine solution spilling into the sink, so it's a brown color solution, it reminded him of the polluted mountain stream during a family picnic. And then this ampule had this brown translucent stain. And that reminded him of what he saw while he was walking with his father beside the stream. He saw a shed insect skin on a leaf. And that insect skin had a brown translucent quality. So that was visually echoing the iodine-stained ampule. So whatever he managed to recall is what he found in his pre-conscious mind. So can he just stop with that? Is it all happening in his mind? Is there any unconscious thing happening in his mind? So he himself couldn't really think of anything else. And he thought it was complete. But what happened was that after many years, he went to a therapist because he had some unstable emotional health. And during the therapy, the therapist uncovered that particular incident, which happened 20 years ago, actually had significant emotional significance on him. So his father was often absent during his upbringing. So the picnic by the waterfall was one of the last happy moments the whole family shared together. So that was a rare moment of closeness to his father. So that memory was quite painful. So it was actually repressed. It was buried. It was unnoticed until it was triggered by the iodine ampule. So this unresolved feelings about his father and the loss of family closeness resulted into prolonged grief. So his emotional problem was related to that. So if we try to understand what do you mean by unconsciousness? So that is the deepest level, inaccessible to direct awareness. It drives behavior and emotional responses. So it contains repressed desires. Why we do that? To avoid pain and conflict. And then the fears and traumatic memories, instinctual drives. So how do we access as therapists? By doing dream analysis, Freudian slips. So what do we mean by Freudian slips? This is the words slips from our tongue. from our unconscious thoughts and by doing psychoanalysis. So in his case, by understanding what was going on in his unconscious mind, he was able to make an emotional connection, and that allowed him to have healing and understanding and to have personal growth. So there was a unconscious communication happened to him. But when he was on his own, he stopped at the pre-conscious level. But when he went to the therapist, when there was a second person involved, he was able to access his unconscious thought. So he was able to have unconscious communication. So as therapists, that's what we do. So by providing relationship and sometimes providing transference, empathy, we try to interpret their unconscious communication. So I just want to talk about 2 cases I dealt with to explain this further. So this is R. He was a carer for his ex-wife. So his complaints were difficulty in making decisions, difficulty in saying no, so go along with whatever he was requested to do. But he resented it. He resented it, saying that he has no life. So there's a conflict there. He gets quite anxious and restless, and he was always worried about where's this going. So this is his background. So his father left the family when he was just 3 years old. So he grew up in a household where much of the attention was focused on his disabled sister. As he reflects, Mom was so wrapped up in my sister that she hardly noticed anything else. And with his education, actually, he managed to go to a grammar school. So grammar schools are basically government schools, but they do take the children following admission exams. So the children who are in grammar school, they are actually, they have the academic potential. They are bright children. But he didn't really continue his studies. He left at the age of 15 to begin an apprenticeship. So despite the promising start, he struggled with low self-esteem from an early age, often feeling inferior to others. He recalls, I was never good as others. So in adolescence and adulthood, alcohol became a way to manage these deep-seated feelings. So drinking gave him a sense of confidence and helped shield him from painful memories. He really worked hard to maintain a sense of control and self-worth. And then he married, but his relationship with his stepchildren was strained from the outset. They never fully accepted him. Even after he stopped drinking, their rejection persisted. Eventually, the marriage broke down and the couple separated. But he managed to cope by staying busy, immersing himself in work and dedicating time to charity, particularly through involvement with Alcoholics Anonymous, where he found a sense of purpose and community. And some years later, his wife suffered a stroke. Then she approached him because her children declined to take responsibility for her care. So despite their separation, he agreed to move back and became a full-time carer for her. But this new role has come at a great personal cost. He had no life of his own. He was suffering from chronic exhaustion due to disturbed sleep. He hardly had any sleep because she had this condition called brittle diabetes, so where her blood sugar may suddenly dip. So he has to monitor it. Because of her stroke, she couldn't inject, so he has to make sure that she has the right blood sugar and have to give the injection at the right time. So he hated this, but at the same time, there was a defense in him. He always said, she can't manage without me. I can't have another carer. It's not going to work. So what was going on in his mind? This is something he always said. I probably need to be told why I'm not confident, why I'm not behaving this way, why I am inadequate. So while I was in therapy, I actually felt this maternal transference in me. So in the here and now, I had this maternal feeling towards him. So that means that he was reenacting as a child. So that reflects his deep-seated issues around low self-esteem and unmet emotional needs from early life that continue to influence his inner dialogue. So I thought I'll bring this concept of life script at this point. So this is a concept coined by Eric Berne. This refers to an unconscious life plan we all develop in our early childhood. This is based on experiences, parental messages, and emotional responses. So mainly from whatever we get from our caregivers. So these scripts guide how a person views themselves, others, and the world, and how they make decisions. So we will have a look at R's life script. So he always thought in his mind, this is the unconscious communication in him we are talking about. So he feels that I am that. Why? He thinks because his father left him and his mother didn't spend much time with him. So as a child, he thought that he was bad. So he has to prove himself all the time. I must always please others to be safe, otherwise they will leave me. I'm not good as others, so I have to work hard. It's a compensatory belief, driving overachievement and perfectionism as a way to prove self-worth. And the other thing was he always said, Mom did everything herself and went to work, so I have to do the same. So this inherited expectation of self-reliance and emotional suppression made him to work hard despite all the difficulties he had. So that's his story. And we were able to see how his life script is playing in his present moment. And then the next one, she actually complained of anxiety about everything and anything and everything. So feeling of fear, and always she had this fear that something is going to happen. It just comes out of nowhere. So this is her case history. Her father passed away from cancer 2 years ago, and she was still grieving. And she expressed guilt over not having spent more time with her father before his death. And then intrusive thoughts. So she described it like, it felt like I was on a fast train, waking up in the middle of the night with a sense that something terrible was going to happen. And then she had this persistent fatigue. But then she said, I feel guilty if I am tired. I blame myself for feeling. So what is happening here? Her childhood was in Kenya. She spent largely in boarding school. And she was, and it was marked by strict discipline, and she was caned. So, and also she endured multiple significant losses throughout her life. Her father died, and she actually had a condition called multiple polyposis, which is like an early cancer, because 5 years ago. And because of that, she had her bowels were removed. So she completely lost her bowel. And then she was married once, and the first marriage ended. And then obviously she lost her home. She moved from Kenya to the UK. So now we will try to analyze her unconscious communications. So the intrusive thoughts and moments of intense anxiety. So she said it felt like I was on a fast train, waking up in the middle of the night with a sense that something terrible was going to happen. So obviously, as therapists, you all understand that anybody who has experienced multiple losses and unexpected illness may have this anxiety. And then say the guilt. Why should she feel guilty about these things? So it seems that her father died of cancer, and she overheard him saying that he was thankful to God, although he was dying, his daughter survived. So she probably had this unconscious communication in her. So she wished the illness away from her. And sometimes she wondered if she wished it on him instead. So that was the guilty. And then I feel guilty if I'm tired, she says. Her tendency to internalize responsibility for events beyond her control. So she actually believed that if I feel something, I assume it must be my fault. So this is stemming from her childhood, stemming from her caning. This pattern of self-blame emerged repeatedly as she struggles to separate emotions from attribution, believing that simply feeling something makes her responsible for it. And also because of that punishment she went through. So she believed if she speaks up, she'll be punished. And what she reported to me about the grieving was that in her family, including her mother, husband, and son, none of them spoke about father's death. So after he died, they had the funeral ceremony. And after that, in the house, they don't talk about it. So this emotional suppression, sorry about that, emotional suppression may have contributed to patterns of self-criticism and difficulty with emotional regulation. So how can we make meaningful changes using the past? So we are all lucky that our brain has got neuroplasticity and the brain can rewire itself. And we know that by providing the right therapy, we can actually make new rewiring in our brain. So as therapists, what we do? So as I said earlier, so we use our relationship, we apply empathy, and we may use the transference if we experience any transference. And then we need to identify reenactment of childhood patterns. That's where the past experience comes useful. And then we can, once we identify it, we can challenge the cognitive distortions. And then we help our clients finding the adult within themselves. And then we use positive affirmation, and we can use all the other things like mindfulness, gratitude, and all the other things I'm sure you're all familiar with. So reflecting on the past can offer several therapeutic benefits. So it enhances our self-awareness. So we get insights into our emotions, motivations, and reactions. So recognizing the patterns is very much important. And then it can lead to a resolution of unresolved issues. So addressing past traumas or conflicts help us to have a closure and healing. Empowerment. So recognizing past successes and strengths can boost confidence and resilience. And it improves decision-making. We learn from past mistakes. So rather than saying, what did I learn? Rather than saying, why did this happen? We need to say, what did I learn? So basically turning the pain into purpose. And that leads to improved personal growth. And there are other benefits as well. Reflecting on our past can give us other benefits. So understanding our life script and how it shapes our behavior allows us to become more mindful of how we interact with our children and with everyone around us. It also helps us develop greater empathy toward the behavior of others. But we should not let past drive the car. Overanalysis of our past experience causes paralysis. Focusing too much on past experience may hinder present focus solutions. And then we may actually get re-traumatization. The emotional baggage can lead to that. And revisiting traumatic events may trigger distressing emotions and can affect us significantly. So we should not stare at the rear view mirror too long. You will crash. So learn, but don't linger. So just want to bring this Tirukkural for people who can understand Tamil. So ahaladu anhadu thikaivar polha. So basically those ministers who serve tyrannical kings should behave like those who warm themselves at the fire. Be neither too far nor too near. So like that, with our past experience, we should not linger too long, but make use of it where necessary. So in conclusion, I just want to say our behaviors are echoes of our past, but they don't have to define our future. By understanding where our reactions come from, we can start choose different responses and grow. We don't have to erase the past. We can mine it. We transform scars into stories and setbacks into setups. So the past is a guide, not a dwelling place. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Shashikala ma'am, for that wonderful, meaningful and thoughtful session. That was a very short and wonderful presentation from you. Meenakshi ma'am, would you just like to go with the question and answer? Meenakshi ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am. The question.
Oh, over to you, ma'am.
Welcome. Yeah.
Meenakshi ma'am, are you with us? Are you having any network issues here?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you. Yes. You may go ahead with the
Yeah.
question and answer, ma'am. Yes, since you're
Yeah,
here.
yeah. It's a wonderful section, ma'am. Good awareness section. We have to aware of our own inner feelings. We have to make to get into the past, but at the same time, we have to carry on with our work. Thank you, ma'am. Good
Thank
guidance
you.
from you. I
Thank
welcome
you.
the floor is for question. Those who are willing to share something or want to clarify certain doubts, we welcome you.
Ma'am, good evening and excellent session. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing with us in such great detail about the various facets. We really
you.
enjoyed it. Thank you. Please do share the PPT and your contact information. Thank you, ma'am, for this experience.
Thank you very much, Benita.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Sure, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shashikala ma'am, if I don't want to go to a therapist and yet I want to reflect and do my inner work so that I can turn my pain into purpose, as a layman, how can I begin?
I mean, this just talk to a reliable friend. I suppose in our culture, that's what we always did, isn't it? We had this extended family system. We always had someone who we can rely on and And we normally shared our pain and whatever the emotional problems we have. That's what we did in the past. But now we are all living with a sort of nuclear family, and we are all busy. That's why we find it difficult. So if you can find somebody, you just make use of them.
Okay, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have a question from Ramamani. Can you please explain one method which can help in handling the past issues?
So one method which can help in handling the past issues. So,
Yes.
I mean, as I said, that if you have had issues in the past, the first thing you need to do is to open up, to talk to somebody about this past issue. Because, as I said in that first case, the research scientist, when you keep it internally, then you may not be aware of all the effect of these past issues and how it is affecting you now. So that's why it's important to open up first. So once you start to talk about it, so that's what Freud called free association. So once you start to talk about it, then gradually in your brain, you will find it that there's so many new rewiring happening, and therefore you will start to understand as well. So that has to be the first step. So once you get that, then gradually you can focus on coaching or cognitive behavioral therapy or all those other things. Does that answer your question?
Ramamani ma'am, I think.
Ramamani?
Namaste, ma'am. I'm Rama.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Namaste.
I just wanted to know, like, because see, nowadays world, it is so important that we don't trust many people. The reason being, there are many backbiters, and you cannot trust other than the therapist. So, in
Yes.
continuation with that earlier question, which I think Shweta has asked, I wanted to know, like, how can we help somebody who has a issue but they cannot talk to anybody? In the sense, like, they don't trust anybody. That is also one of the issue because of the past.
Yes, I mean, the one other thing you can do is journaling. I mean, sometimes when you start writing every day, then gradually you find that you yourself, your brain start to connect, the different parts of the brain start to connect. So I find that useful, actually. I personally, I mean, we all have to have therapists during our training. So I did have therapists, but I don't have it now. But most people do have. But when I have, I always write things. I do journaling. And I share everything with my husband as well. So it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to find somebody who is reliable. But writing helps, actually.
Yes,
What is
very
your
true.
view
Even
on
I
that?
follow them. Yeah, very true. I
Thank you.
also follow them. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Ma'am. Friends, do you have any questions? We still have 20 more minutes. Do you have any more questions? Friends, the session is open for questions. Sure. Varsha, please go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, firstly, it's a very short and crisp and very well put together session. Very beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
You so much for that. And my question is that, as you have mentioned, sometimes we overanalyze things from our past lives, right? So is there any tips that you can give in order to stop analyzing things?
I think with overanalyzing, what I could say is about mindfulness. Once we start to overanalyze, we have to be mindful of what we are doing, what we are thinking. So then we just have to work on splitting them. I mean, obviously, if too many things come into our mind, it's so hard, isn't it? So we have to compartmentalize things. So so that's what we need to do. And it's just being mindful. That is the most important thing. And then once you start to understand what are the different past issues you're dealing with, and then you have to try to approach help accordingly. Is it a trauma? Is it an abuse? So you just have to find out. And then you can approach the relevant person to help you.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the response.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Friends, do you have any more questions? We still have a lot of time, at least 5 to 10 minutes. So do you have any questions? There's a lot of positive feedback for your session, ma'am, from Mahadevan sir. This is very resourceful and enlightening session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And from Sarabhan ma'am also. Thank you so much, Shashikala ma'am, for that wonderful and informative session. So I think Punita ma'am has asked you to share your contact information if it's possible. Please.
I have actually put a link of mine. Okay. So you
that
can
would
actually
be having
use that
your
link for the
contact details, ma'am. The
yeah,
link which you
it
have
does.
sent. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It does. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Fine. Yes. Thank you, friends. Still waiting for you to go ahead with your questions. I think Ashmin has also sent a positive feedback for your session. Thank you, ma'am. Mesmerizing session, beautifully structured and presented. Thank you so much, everyone, for your lovely feedback. Ma'am, if I'm right, May 29th, again, you're presenting another session.
Is it the 29th or 30th?
29th or 30th, one of those days.
Yeah, I think it's on the 30th.
Yes, I think ma'am will be presenting another wonderful session.
So on the 30th, I'm actually doing a talk on a troubled youth, society, parents, or personal choice.
Okay.
So this is mainly to do with all the social media and anxious generations.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So Arukya has also sent a feedback. Thank you, ma'am, for that wonderful session. And Benita, ma'am, has requested you to share your PPT. And she has said wonderful detailed explanation and experience. Thank you, Benita, ma'am. Benita, ma'am, is one of our wonderful participants here, and we definitely have many more. So, Naveen.
If no more question is left, we can conclude, ma'am.
Sure, definitely. And ma'am, with your kind permission, may I request the other coordinator, Naveen Sharma, to go ahead with the vote of thanks?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Request you, Naveen, to go ahead with the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. Usually, people will go under depression if they think about the past. But you have been enlightened with your session how to use that past and go for greater achievement, ma'am. Thank you so much for that wonderful session, ma'am. Please accept our gratitude on behalf of the American College Mother in association with Yellow Counseling and Wellness Center, India, and Tamil Nadu Psychotherapist and Psychological Association. With that, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants and coordinating team members. Participants, tomorrow 5 p.m. we do have another one session with exciting topic and interesting speaker. With that, thank you all. Thank you once again, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you and grateful, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Anita. And also welcome all the volunteers who have joined. So I'm really, I'm so happy that I joined this community, and I'm sure you all will enjoy it so much and you will learn a lot from this community. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. See you all tomorrow.
Okay, bye.